Okay, so with this one, it says I have to give way to the oncoming car. Just notice the sign just on the left. And I've got the red one. There's another one just come out of the side road as well that I'm going to have to give way to. Notice the double dotted lines just in front of me. Okay, check my centre right mirror and my right blind spot. It looks clear now. And off I go. Yeah, there's a red circular sign with a small red arrow pointing upwards in my direction, but a bigger black arrow coming the other way, which means it's not my priority. Now, by contrast, this one is my priority. Blue rectangular sign, white arrow pointing up, red smaller arrow coming the other direction. Notice the silver car there has just waited for me. Again, notice there was double dotted lines just where they were waiting. So we've got a roundabout coming up here. It's going to follow the road ahead. One thing I have to indicate on this one, there's no left turn on this roundabout. You've only got to go ahead or right. With a couple of checks to the right, all clear. As long as you're keeping a little bit to the left on the approach, everyone knows by you're not signalling and you're positioning to the left, everyone there knows you're going ahead. Right, now up ahead, notice there's a tunnel. Now it's a tunnel where there's another one of these traffic calming chicanes. Now you can see the red car oncoming has just spotted me just before the bridge. I don't know if you can just see it now. It's my right of way after all. Look at that rectangular sign on the left again. So the red one's just waiting for me as I go through the tunnel. Thank him again. Thanks for waiting. Right. So it possibly could have gone then, but it was a long tunnel that he had to get through. So in the end, I'm quite happy he did wait, because it would have been a bit of a risk if he would have tried to sort of speed up and get through before me. Right, it's quite a steep uphill. Notice I've got a 30 sign there. I'm in gear 2 at the moment, so I'm going to put my foot down now, keep it in gear 2 till I'm right up at 30, then kick it into 3. So then I didn't lose too much speed on that bend then, or the uphill. Okay, kept my foot down, not quite fully on the accelerator, but not far from. Right, off it now, dropping a gear to 2, slowly off my clutch. I'm going to turn left, centre left mirror, down, drop to 1. Might have to stop, we'll just have to see what's coming. I'm just going to try and creep. A couple of parked vehicles on the right blocking my view, keeping an edge in. I can see there's a white van there now, just about to pass me shortly. After that, looks okay. Yeah, all good. Notice the dotted line cycle lane on the left, just going over some bus stop markings there. Got the hatch markings in the middle with a few right turn lanes and boxes as well. There's a few obstructions on the left there, so check my centre right mirror. I'm going to have to move on to the hatched markings. Fully legal and okay to do so, because the alternative there would be to plough into a few parked vehicles. Watch for the blue van in my left mirror, yep, then I can come back off the markings into the normal driving lane and position. So again, another bus stop marking there, but again I can drive over that. After all, there's no bus there. So I passed a warning sign. There's another one just coming up for people riding horses. Just got a sort of horse riding place on the right with some stables. So obviously I can't see any horses at the moment, but it's just warning me that it could be a possibility.
Just going to check my central mirror. Yep, looks okay behind. The highway code generally recommends that you check your central mirror at least once every 5 to 10 seconds. Just important to keep some kind of eye on what's behind you, just a casual awareness really. Obviously the main focus though is obviously on the road ahead.
Pedestrian crossing here. I think this one looks like a puffing crossing. Yep, there's no people waiting. So there are a few cameras on top which are pointed onto the crossing. Makes it a puffing crossing. They're the ones that the cameras essentially sense if there's anybody on the crossing when obviously it's changed to red, and what it does, it holds traffic on red until the cameras are happy that there's no pedestrians on the crossing, and then it will change. It's very different to like a Pelican. They stay in red for a period of time, then after a while the beeping stops, and then the red's around the red light, you see a flashing amber. So the flashing amber means you can go if there's no pedestrians, but if there's still pedestrians there, you obviously have to wait until they get onto the pavement.
It is important to maintain a 2-second gap between myself and the car in front. It's just in case the car ahead brakes suddenly or is involved in some kind of collision. It just ensures that I don't go into the back of that vehicle. I normally recommend a little bit more than this to my students on most lessons, but it's 2 seconds as your standard as per the highway code. In wet conditions, the highway code recommends you double the 2 seconds to a minimum 4-second gap, and in snow and icy conditions, the highway code recommends 10 times the normal distance.
So if you notice here, there are 2 lanes which go ahead. The white van's moved into the leftmost lane, which just takes you left only onto the motorway. You see some straight ahead arrows just on the floor there. Traffic from the left just joining from the motorway. Those 2 vans were fine, they didn't make me slow down at all. This red one on the left just needs to wait for me. Didn't look like he wanted to. No, he's actually pulled in right behind the car that was right in front of the car that was behind me. But anyway, right, now there's a bus lane coming up here which you can drive in. The sign said Monday to Friday. Today is a Thursday, but it only says between the hours of 7 till 10 AM and 4 till 7 PM is it an active bus lane. So if you notice there, I've got a white van just parked in it, which is not really very helpful. Just waiting for the red one to get past me. Centre right mirror just moving out slightly, and then centre left, yeah, there it is. So I can just pull back in. So again, to reiterate, this is a fully legal bus lane that you can drive in at this time. The time is basically just close to 12:30 in the afternoon, so it's definitely something I'm okay to drive in. So centre right mirror, just move around this van that's parked.
Approaching a green traffic light, it's important to think it could change to amber. Yeah, at that point I'm committed, so at that point if it went to amber I would carry on. At this point I indicate right just to change lanes because I can see a parked vehicle up ahead. The grey Mercedes driving a little bit aggressively. You might have just heard it beeped its horn then. It was actually beeping its horn at the white van in front that actually, just out of shot in my mirrors, I saw actually pulled in front of them quite late. So yeah, a little bit aggressive from the grey driver, but then the white van didn't really help itself by just basically indicated and went. Didn't indicate and ask the question, just indicated and then just took that space. At this point, approaching the pedestrian crossing, but I can't see any people left or right, either already there, probably pressed the button, or even approaching. So there's no one there. Essentially, there's no real danger. The crossings aren't going to change unless somebody obviously has walked past and then pressed the button and just carried on, or they pressed the button and noticed it was clear and crossed anyway. You notice this one again, there's nobody on the right or left. There's a jogger on the right there, but I was getting to the crossing sort of way before they were. Okay, so at the moment I'm just keeping my speed up at 30 miles per hour. Road looks relatively clear at the moment, just got that car with its brake light showing on the left, so there's a possibility that they could have drove off. If you look at the road, it looks relatively clear at the moment, so it's important just to maintain your speed. Up at the speed limit, it can be dangerous if you're going too slow. You can just draw cars in a little bit close behind you. But like I said previously, I'm just keeping my safe distance between me and the car in front. Again, there's nobody waiting or approaching this pedestrian crossing, so again, there is no danger there. If you're unsure they might change, it's a good idea just to check your central mirror, just to see if there is anyone behind, sort of proximity. So if you do have to stop in a hurry, you've got already prepared, as in what's behind you, if you need to sort of stop quite suddenly. Now up ahead there's a set of traffic lights where locally, I know this road, the left lane only turns left only, so I'm going to stay in the right hand lane, which is the lane that carries on ahead. Now if you notice where that white car has stopped, I think they've just noticed the markings and or the road sign that tells them that's a left only lane. So you notice I'm just holding back, just leaving some space for that white car to get in. There's no point really pressuring it, there's no point in compounding the issue. They may not look, you might just see the markings there on the left only, and then on my lane, you can see there's a straight ahead arrow. So yeah, just show a bit of courtesy, because people will make mistakes, everyone's human. You'd like a bit of courtesy if that situation ever happened to you. So if you notice, the traffic flow's just taking a little while to speed up. It's just sheer volume of cars really, it can happen sometimes. Just keep patient, so I'm just keeping my distance between me and that car, the white car that's just in front, just allowing people to get up to the speed limit in their own good time. Notice on the left we've got a fire station just coming up. There are some yellow box junction markings just outside the entrance to the fire station. You can just see them coming up there. Obviously wait until your exit road is clear before you enter those markings. The last thing you want is to be on those markings and preventing a fire engine from getting out in the case of an emergency.
Okay, so the roundabout coming up, I'm going to turn right, exit number 3. It's going to be a small example of a spiral roundabout, this one. Okay, so centre right mirror, pop your indicator up, stay in the right hand lane, drop to 2 off my clutch, looks okay. So exit 1 on the left there, and exit 2 is quite close there. And at this point, centre left mirror, notice I've stayed on the outside now rather than on the inside. Then I'm going to indicate left, just stay close to the grass on the left and the curb, and I know I'm over to that exit there, and then just cancel my signal. Yeah, so level with the second exit, then, because I'm going to go off at the third, you've just got to make sure then you're on the outside, so aim for the curb on the left hand side rather than sticking to the curb on the inside, which is on the right of the roundabout.
Notice I'm on the right hand lane here to turn right. It's actually a double give way if you notice. The left lane goes left only. I was turning right, so I moved over to the right. Notice the double yellow lines on the left. They indicate no parking. So I'm just gone past a church, then I'm just going past a school, just coming up on the left, just where these green railings are. And obviously in this area, they're obviously put those double yellow lines there because they don't want people parking either outside the church or outside of the school, just for safety reasons. Notice here I've had to drive onto the hatch markings in the middle, just because of the parked vehicles on the left. It's perfectly permitted to do so. So I said the alternative would be to drive too close to the parked vehicles, and you don't really want to do that. Just being cautious on my accelerator as well. There's numerous parked vehicles on this road, plus it's a little bit downhill, so obviously gravity is going to force the car a little bit quicker down the hill, so you just got to be cautious with how much acceleration you use.
I'm going to follow the road ahead at the mini roundabout. Notice the triangle warning sign on the left and the blue circular sign there telling me the roundabout is just here. Follow the road ahead, so I don't need any indicator to go ahead. Drop it into 1 to make sure it's clear. Yeah, that's okay. So no indicator at all if you're going to go ahead. It's a mini roundabout. Notice there's a couple of obstructions just on the left as I'm coming in. Just prepared then to stop if I needed to. You had a mini digger and a couple of vans on the left. So a bit of a blind bend, so I'll swing over to the left again just to make sure if there's anything coming. I'm over on my side. Fortunately it was clear. Okay, example where I'm just having to drive right down the middle of the road here because there's cars parked on both sides. It's a double parked car situation. So if another car's coming the way, you just got to look for some spaces on either the left for yourself, or if the oncoming car could move somewhere onto the right somewhere.